Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm glad to see you all here today. Hopefully, some more participants join in, but even if they don't, we will conduct our workshop together. So today, the topic of our discussion is devoted to the reduction of time on the reading part of ЕГЭ, yeah, and we will ensure to exchange some information. I will tell you some information, sharing it on how you can shrink the time without sacrificing the result of your completion of the tasks, respectively. So I'd rather we started with some acquaintance. So I would like to share some information about myself. So my name is Polina, and currently I work at the Institute of International Education. There I teach grammar, English for academic purposes, and home reading. So in case you decide to join us further on, I would be happy to perhaps collaborate with you further on. So regarding my experience in terms of certifications, I have so far received several certificates that prove the level of English language proficiency, namely CAE, that stands for Cambridge Advanced English, and CPE, Cambridge Proficiency English, respectively, that has proved the C2 level of English command. Then TKT 3 modules, these exams are for teachers, as well as the first module of Delta. In case you have some interest, you may further on find out more about these exams, but I'm not gonna go into much detail here. Then currently, as I do perceive our learning and career pathways as something quite dynamic, I cannot but mention that currently my major aspiration is to ensure my students' best performance and their eagerness to study. So I hope you are with me on that. So moving forward, let us take a look at the contents of our today's meeting. So first of all, I will ask you some questions on the reading part of the exam, seeing how well you know its contents, what the tasks are about, how many points we can get, and so on. Then further, I will share some basic information on the reading part. Part, you can see a bit of a typo here, but anyways. Then we will also address some strategies on how to deal with the tasks more effectively. Further practice, of course, reflect on perhaps the questions that you would have. If you don't have them, then we will not include that. And yeah, so questions from your side, in case there are some, we will also address. So moving forward, let us start straight with the quiz. So if you could please use the chat in order to provide your responses. So my first question to you is, how many tasks there are in the reading part? So if you know, please write the answer in the chat. If you don't know, you can guess how many tasks there are. Like we have our reading part, and how many tasks is it comprised of? I'm gonna wait for a while to give you some time. Uh-huh. Okay, yeah, receiving the answers. So we have tasks number 10, task number 11, and respectively 12 to 18, yeah, which overall gives us 9 tasks. So 7 tasks in the final section and 2 more that go prior to it. Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Natalia, for answering. What's the maximum number of points we can get for the whole reading part? If we include the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, 13th, 14th, and whatnot till the 18th tasks. 12 points. Absolutely. That is the accurate info as well. How many texts do we have? So we have identified that we have 9 tasks, but does it mean that we will read 9 texts, or it does not? How many texts do we read? Maybe we read only 1 text, 3 texts. Absolutely. Yeah. Then how many points can we get for part 1? Now let's try to separate. We are talking about the 10th task only. Two points. Well, in fact, for the first one, we get 3 points, whereas for the second, we get 2. So we will address that further on. Yeah, for the second part, we get 2 points respectively. Yeah, so it will be here. Then for the third part, how many points do we get? Yeah, this is fair. What about tasks? Not 3.9, but 12 to 18. 7 points. Yeah, that's it. Here we get 7 points. Okay, moving forward to the information on the tasks. Let us start with the very first one. So the first task, which is under number 10, as we have identified together, gives us 2 points maximum. And here, what we have in front of us is 7 passages. Yeah, passages stand for short texts. Then 8 headings, which means that one of the headings will be extra. We will not have to use it. It is like created, designed in the task just to distract us a little bit from the accuracy in our answers. Then we can get 3 points maximum here. Guys, if you make 1 mistake there, you may still receive some points. You will get 2, but if you have 2 mistakes or more, unfortunately, that would be 0 points. Back in the day, this task was assessed in a different way, so you could get more points for that, but they decided to introduce some more restrictions this year. And this task checks our gist. And gist stands for general understanding, so we will not have to go deep into details here. We will just have to understand the main idea of the text that is in front of us, respectively. So in terms of the second part, here we have a text with some missing parts. Respectively, underneath it, we will have 7 extracts, but in the text, there will be only 6 missing parts, which again means that one of the passages, extracts will be extra. We will not have to use it. So 2 points maximum here. We have 6 answers and 2 points maximum. If you make 1 mistake, you get 1 point. If you make 2 or more mistakes, you get 0 points. And this task, unlike the first one, checks our our ability, I would say, to find structural connections in the text. So which task do you think is harder for you? The first one or the second one here, the 10th or the 11th? Maybe you could share your personal experience of working with these tasks. It depends on text. Well, I couldn't agree more. In fact, if the topic is more familiar to us, then any task is easier. Well, okay, got it. All right, so we will move on forward. Thank you, Natalia, for sharing. We will continue with part number 3, some general info on that. So here we have only 1 text, but it's bigger than the previous ones. In the first task, we had like short ones, In the second one, a little more durable for reading. And here we have the biggest in size. of a text, we have 7 questions with multiple choice answers, and respectively, we can get 7 points maximum here. This is the so-called detailed reading task. So it checks our ability not only to understand the general idea in the text, but also to figure out some details there. And what perhaps makes this task quite complicated is the fact that in our questions, we will not see the same words as those in the text itself. Most likely, there will be just some synonyms, some words with similar meanings, or maybe expressions that mean the same, yeah? And at times, we have to be really, really careful in order to understand the information in order to give the answer to the question correctly. So let us move on forward. Yeah, it's all about the strategy, which we're about to move on forward now. So we will start with the strategy for the first part, which is, again, considered. I'm not telling it's ultimately true, but it is considered the easiest one. Here, we will start, it's just the generally accepted recommendation. Of course, you can use your own different strategies, but in order to make sure that you deal with the task more effectively, you can use this strategy. Personally, this strategy, I've used this strategy myself, and not only at this particular exam, but it's quite universal for all sorts of exams where there is reading, but reading is everywhere because this is the essential skill when it comes to language comprehension. So regarding the strategy, we may well start with reading the headlines, just to get some understanding of what the texts are about. They might be related among one another, but we start by reading the headlines. That's just one way to look at it. Then in the headlines, we can find some keywords, that would express the general ideas of the headlines themselves. What are keywords? So perhaps you've heard this piece of advice before. Keywords, everyone talks about them, but what are they? So keywords are usually such words that express content. Commonly, content is expressed by nouns, adjectives, adverbs, but not such parts of speech as conjunctions, prepositions, pronouns, and parts of speech like that. So we then go to the text. Okay, we have found some keywords in our headlines. Then we continue with analyzing the passages, the short texts. And for example, I have my text A, and what can I pay attention to there? As this task, I told you earlier, checks only our general understanding, it means that I can focus on some particular parts. Usually, the main idea is located either at the very beginning in the so-called topic sentence, or at the very end where the author summarizes their idea. So the author just wishes for the readers to get it clearly at the end of the passage. So either beginning or end. Also in the passage itself, we can highlight some keywords, which again may be different from those keywords in the passages, but they may have similar meanings, they may express similar concepts and whatnot. And then, of course, our final step is to choose a heading to match the passage. In case it happens so that you're not sure as to which heading to choose, you may leave it for later, of course, but even then, please don't leave empty spaces. That's the piece of advice applicable to each and every task at the exam. So even if you're not sure, just put something. You thus increase your chances to strike a point, So this is called intelligent guessing. Try to base your assumption on something and choose something. Moving forward, we will practice a little bit with the first task. So look, here we have our headings, and I suggest highlighting some keywords in them. So in number 1, always in a hurry. Which words do you think will be keywords here? If you could, please share your ideas in the chat. Hurry, okay, Perhaps always too. Hurry, though, is more key than anything. Agree with you. Then the city of skyscrapers. What about this one? What keywords do you see here? Skyscrapers, definitely, yeah. Ostensibly city too, yeah, we can take. Okay, number 3, winning and losing. I guess it's obvious, yeah. We just don't take and highlight winning, losing. Then number 4, unknown side of the city. Winning, losing, okay. In the 4th one, unknown side of the city. Yeah, unknown side, city. We just skip of and there because there is an article, of is a preposition. Okay, number 5, saving the variety. Saving variety. Do you know the word variety? If you do, please put a plus. If you do, okay, nice. Then getting around the city. Getting around, yeah, here around does matter just because this is the phrasal verb, getting around, and then city. Okay, great. Number 7, for the holiday and more. Okay, well, yeah, we could take that as well. I'd rather say holiday, more for, yeah, it expresses the purpose here. We can just highlight it, in such a way. Okay, number 8, nickname for a building. Nickname building, absolutely agree. Nickname building. I'm going to give you a minute now to look through this passage and try to choose which heading you think suits, okay? Just analyze it. Remember about topic sentences, conclusions. And as soon as you are ready, you may put your answer in the chat. Okay, already receiving number 5. Let's wait a little more. Maybe someone else decides to share. Number 5. Okay, so the vast majority of us, yeah, have agreed upon the 5th one. So I also join your choice. So number 5 appears to be the best option here. Let's see what keywords we could have identified in our passage, right, itself. So yeah, let me just find highlighter. Okay, so the melting pot, that's clear. Melting pot, yeah, it's something that unites a lot of cultures, yeah, in it, diversity. Okay, so the word diversity will be also of great use for us. Okay, diversity here, linguistic diversity. On the planet, 800 different languages. Extinct, yeah, so some let me see. Yeah, some of them are nearly extinct. But then there is the project, okay, preserve rare languages, endangered, okay, preserve, so you're sharing similar thoughts there, excellent. So, okay, 800 different languages, I guess we could say, yeah, because we talk about variety here and saving it. So saving stands for preserve, yeah, you've also highlighted that. Then also some languages are nearly extinct, yeah, so we have to save them. Alrighty, brilliant logics. You have followed the strategy, and I hope you found it useful. I mean, the strategy of using keywords. So thank you for taking part. Let's continue with our next reading part. It will be the second one, or the 11th, as it is called at the exam. So, strategy-wise, we first start with reading the text for general understanding. You shouldn't spend much time on it, though. I'd rather you just spend about a minute to understand the context, because context is the key. I have provided this hint over here to pay attention to the context. So what do I mean by the context? The context is like the story itself, yeah, the general idea, the topic of the text. So then the second step will be for us to highlight the reference words. Here we don't work with such a concept as keywords, but rather we work with reference words. So what are reference words? Reference words are such words that have some word that they refer to, yeah, previously in the text. There should be, for example, countries. They are, I don't know, countries, they are representative all around the world. Yeah, they will be the reference word for countries, for example. Then some examples include it, them, they, his, their, which, that, etc. So usually these are represented by pronouns. Yeah, this may be like personal pronouns or other types of them too. So it may, for example, refer to, I don't know, information. Yeah, information shared all around the world. And then in the next sentence, you have it is shared by many, many people. Somewhat like that. It what? Information. Then step number 3, we focus on the parts surrounding the gap. So you have a sentence with a gap, there is no information. But what you can do is to focus on what goes before the gap and after the gap. These parts should help you analyze, because in these adjacent parts, you will see the reference words themselves, and you can thus identify. Plus context. Of course, yeah, we always keep that in mind. And the fourth is to choose an extract to match the gap. Respectively, that's our final step. And again, intelligent guessing in case the fourth step doesn't work out. So let's see. This is our practical point for now. We have some statements over here, yeah, to fill in the gap at hand. So let's try. Again, a couple minutes for you to think it over, and then we will analyze together. Okay, receiving the first answers. 3. Okay, so I guess what could have helped us here to choose the correct answer is the so-called connection between subject, yeah, and verb. So subject and predicate. So Sir Ernest was the chairman, the owner of Vodafone, and his son was making the first ever mobile phone call in the UK. So here we have subject represented by him and his son, yeah, and the predicate respectively was making their first phone call. Without that, the sentence appears to be incomplete. Brilliant. So let's move on forward to the final part, which is the third. here we have our strategy at hand. First off, we start with gist. It's common, yeah. In order to do detailed reading tasks, we of course have to understand the main ideas, yeah. So we start with gist always. Then we highlight the keywords in the given questions, and my recommendation to you is not highlighting keywords in the answers, but in the questions, because some of the answers may not even be present in the text at all, but the questions certainly will be. So it's, I wouldn't say a surefire recipe, but it's more likely that you will be able to find some information in the text if you highlight keywords in the question rather than the answers. Then we should focus on the parts of the text that contain synonyms to the keywords or the keywords themselves. Okay, we have our question, we highlighted keywords there, and we should go back to the text to find something similar in the text, to find maybe synonyms, yeah, to our keywords, or again, some formulations that expressed something similar there. And finally, we make our choice. If we find ourselves hesitant or, in doubt about what answer to choose, then of course intelligent guessing, but it's better to apply the strategy that is shared over here, yeah, before opting for intelligent guessing. Then there is a small also hack for you to be reliant on. Usually the questions go in the same order in which answers to them appear in the text. So for example, the first question, yeah, the answer to it will be usually somewhere at the beginning of your text. Then to the second question, your answer will be located somewhere maybe in the second paragraph. That's the usual logics of YEGE tasks organization. So let's move on to the practical part. This is our question here. Let's identify keywords in the question. Yeah, we got the gist, a good night's sleep, an impossible dream. The text is about sleeping, yeah, and its importance most likely. But let's focus on the question. What keywords do we see here? Advice of American doctors, right, yeah. So I'm highlighting that part because it definitely does represent our main idea here. Advice, American doctors. Yeah, advice doctors. Yeah, so these are similar. Okay, let's now analyze. Oh, you see, what have I found? That's what American doctors advise. So we should search somewhere here, ostensibly somewhere before that. Reduce negative effect of technologies. Yeah, you're highlighting keywords in the answers, but my initial suggestion was not analyzing the answers, yeah, that clearly. We can just compare further. So let's check out the text rather, instead of highlighting keywords here. Okay, just, yeah. This is like our conclusion. That's what American doctors advise. If you skim through this part, you will understand what they actually advise. So I hope you've been able to look through this passage. Let's try and see. So, okay, do yourself a favor, yeah? Shut off the TV, log off the internet, unplug the phone, relax, take a bath, sip some herbal tea, move into the bedroom, set your alarm clock, a lot of different pieces of advice, right? And then fluff up your pillows, lay your head down, And that's it. So if we just kind of try and find the bottom line of this all, how would you pin it down to one answer? All of these points, shut off the TV, log off this, do this, that. Receiving the answer. B. Okay, absolutely. Complex measures to ensure healthy sleep. So you see how it works. Very, very easy, actually. So yeah, this is answer B for sure. Complex measures. The measures include A, B, and C. Yeah, that's what the American doctors advise on improving one's sleep. Ways to reduce negative effect. Well, no, it was not the purpose of the passage 100%. Yes, there was a mention of unplugging one's phone, but it's not the core idea here. Then positive effect of herbal therapy. Well, herbs were mentioned, but again, it was not the main point. And then the process of restoring from unexpected psychological stress. The process of restoring, not exactly, it's not even about advice, yeah, in the first place. So very, very well done. I'm so glad you've been able to complete all the tasks successfully after our today's practice. So we are moving on. I would like you to now rate the difficulty of the tasks from 1 to 10, where 1 is not difficult at all, 10 is very difficult. So, I mean, reading section, how do you feel about it? 2, wow, incredible. Yeah, I love this. Okay, number 4, not number, but like 0.4, rate 4. Okay, it's even like not a half, yeah? So, excellent. I'm elated. And how useful do you find our today's workshop? Again, 1 is not useful at all, 10 is very useful. 10, oh, thank you. That's awesome. I'm glad you have found it useful. Okay, so then let's continue. Maybe you have some questions left on the reading part, something we could discuss at this point. If you do, you can type them in the chat. If you don't have any questions, you can just put a minus there. Minus, okay. All right, as there are no questions involved, I would like to just share my social media with you in case you're interested. We could stay in touch further on. Thank you as well. Thank you for active participation today. Yeah, I wish you all a nice evening ahead and bye-bye. Yeah, so till later.